This episode of Kids Wave Radio discusses a real-life road incident involving injury and loss of life. We won't be going into graphic detail, but younger listeners may find it upsetting. If you'd prefer, this might be a good episode to skip. Walking down any street in London today, you will see electric bikes and electric scooters in crowds with a Lime printed on them. And that's what we're talking about today, Lime bikes. Are they a hindrance or are they useful? Join me today in this episode for an in-depth analysis into these Lime bikes that are popping up in cities across the UK. My name's Shiloh Macmillan and you're listening to Kids Wave Radio.
Kids Wave Radio, let your mind be free. Explore, learn and share in harmony. Email us your thoughts, join the band. Kids Wave Radio at protonmail.com, take a stand.
Now, let's talk e-bikes and e-scooters. So what's been happening in my city is that Lime bikes have been cropping up all over the place to replace our old cycling scheme. Today, I want to do an in-depth analysis into Lime bikes in general, because there are many stats here that prove that they're not the safest mode of transport. And here's just in general from the UK government. In Great Britain in 2024, there were 1,312 e-scooter collisions. And there were 1,390 casualties and 444 serious injuries. And around 1,200 serious cycling injuries happen per year in London. And the e-bikes, including the hire bikes like Lime, make up about 1 in 5 of those injuries. Now that is quite concerning because Lime and other companies are one of the biggest providers of e-bikes and hire e-bikes. They do have a good system of reporting accidents, but they could have been prevented with only some quick safety measures. And now let's have a look at the top speeds. So for Lime e-scooters in the UK, the top speed is about 12.5 miles per hour. And everywhere else in the world is up to about 20 miles per hour. Now here in the UK, as I mentioned, the top speed is about for 15 or 15.5 miles per hour for Lime e-bikes, but elsewhere is about 18 miles per hour. And then there are these special other Lime bikes called Lime Glide. Now these bikes have no pedals, you just sit on it and there's a throttle you push and it just accelerates for you. And now that isn't available in the UK just yet, but everywhere else it's capable of doing 17 miles per hour. And that is rather concerning because you have no pedal control, you just have the brakes and the steering. So if in some unlikely event of malfunction, you would just be sent into a collision course, really. And that's where the main safety concern arises. And many people say that these Lime bikes aren't safe, and not to mention the parking as well. Lime have introduced a new system into their app where you have to take a photo of your parking. And if they think that you've been parking inconsiderately, they will give you a fine. But I don't think that's a strong enough deterrent. It's probably about a £2 fine to start off with, but if you consistently park it inconsiderately, it can reach up to £20. I don't think that's quite enough. And also, these docking places where they say you can park, they're not exactly marked properly on the floor or in the physical area. Like for example, let's just take the West Midlands as an example. They had a West Midlands cycle hire scheme. And you used to have these special docks you'd have to put the front wheel in. And once you had done that, that would be locked and out of the way. But with these Lime bikes, you just hit end right on the app and you can end it almost anywhere you like. And this is where the concern comes in. Because in London, if you were to visit highly populated areas, you would find dozens of Lime bikes just strewn everywhere around on the pavement, on the floor, blocking pedestrian access. So really, they're parked quite inconsiderately by users. So I'm not sure exactly what we should do. Should we ban Lime bikes altogether? I mean, they're really handy and they're useful, but are they just causing too much concern and interruption of services. Now, I managed to get a clip from Jim Waterson, who is an investigative journalist and has his own newspaper. Here's what he said on the topic of Lime bikes.
There's been a lot of moans about the fact that they can block pavements and things like that. And it all started because one person said, I've broken a leg. And then a second reader got in touch to say, it's also broken my leg. And then by the time a third and a fourth got in touch, it's like, there's a story here. And I started phoning up consultants who work in trauma wards across London. And they said, it's off the scale. We're just getting loads and loads of people coming in, flying off these bikes. And obviously injuries happen in any form of transport. But the thing that's quite notable with this is that they said two things to people come off them. One, the bikes have a design which they believe might be a flaw, which means that when they fall on top of you, it basically acts like a pivot point. There's a growing number of lawsuits about this. People are getting payouts from Lime. I took out a trained mechanic on the streets of London. We hired 50 Lime bikes, and we found about 10 to 12% were so dangerous that he'd want them taken off the street immediately. And it was interesting because we talked to people riding them around. They said, yeah, that fits with my experience. Quite often these bits fall off. The argument from the operator is, well, what can we do? People are going to kick at these things.
And I think that was a really insightful piece there, which told us a bit about it and what clinicians are saying across London. So now, basically, they're not all dangerous. There's a very low percentage that fall off and have some serious injury. But in actual fact, they're quite fun to ride. And Jim Waterson said that he also enjoys riding them. They are quite fun to ride, as they have this motor assist, which makes it really engaging. And there's no need, if you're panting up a hill, to switch gear or anything. It'll do it all for you. So there are huge benefits to it. And it is also convenient to get around town. Now, after doing some deep research into this, I found an official finding, and this was against a company, Voi. Now, they used to be in the area of the West Midlands supplying e-scooters until their contract ended in 2023 and was then taken up by Beryl. So according to the official findings, a 12-year-old boy in Birmingham died following a road traffic collision in December 2022. The inquest heard that he was riding an e-scooter on the pavement when he collided with a pedestrian and fell into the path of a bus travelling at low speed. It was found that the e-scooter was rented out by a company called Voi. He suffered fatal injuries and died at the scene. The scooter was part of a government-approved trial scheme which requires riders to be over 18 and hold a driving licence. It was also reported that the scooter had been unlocked using another person's account. The coroner's conclusion was that the death was the result of a road traffic collision. And this particular incident raised wider questions about safety and access, which are still being discussed. Now, this just shows that how dangerous these bikes can be if you do not ride them properly, and especially if you don't have a driver's license, you never try and unlock them illegally, because your brain has to be mature enough to handle these type of scooters. But when ridden in a safe manner, and you are 18 years or older, 99.99% of Lime trips actually ended without a reported incident in 2024. And Lime, on their website, they have many claims, and they're actually quite safe. They're very safe indeed. You just need to know how to ride them and use them, and how to ride them safely. And at the time when this episode is being recorded, it is nice and sunny outside, and it's a perfect time to get out with a Lime bike or without to your local nature reserve or anywhere really that has a historic gem or somewhere perfect to ride and enjoy nature. So this is an opportune moment to talk about the national heritage and how they are trying to encourage people to foster a love of nature and outdoors. So they've got many historic spots all across the UK, and you can visit them all. Some are free, some you have to pay for, but they're all a wonderful experience, and I definitely recommend everybody to try out these. And just one example of something that's going on throughout the May half term is Playhenge at Stonehenge. So that's taking place on the 23rd till the 29th of May 2026, and the time is 10:30 to 5:30 p.m, but the last entry is at 5 p.m. It's located at Stonehenge and it's suitable for families. So during the May half term, you'll be joining the Woodland Triumph of Playhenge and build an adventure playground using real hammers, saws and nails. You'll be working together to design and create the play structure of your dreams. Playhenge is suitable for ages 4+. Children must be accompanied by an adult. Due to the nature of the activity, this event may be noisy. Ear defenders will be available to borrow. This experience is first come, first served, and due to the capacity, queues may form, so you've got to make sure you get there nice and early. Time within the experience will be restricted, but you're welcome to come back and have multiple build attempts throughout the day. And their location is Amesbury, SP4 7DE, and it's at Stonehenge. You can head to the English Heritage website and have a look at what's going on during the May half term. So in conclusion, are Lime bikes a really harmful product to be sold to the market? Well, in my opinion, I think that Lime bikes are generally considered safe, and all sorts of rented bikes as well, not just Limes. They're generally considered safe if you use them correctly and take the correct safety measures like wearing a helmet and ensuring you have appropriate clothing. And that will really help you. But all in all, Lime bikes and other rentals are considered generally safe. Thank you for listening to another episode of Kids Wave Radio, presented by Shiloh Macmillan. To listen back to our previous shows, have a look at our Spotify by just searching Kids Wave Radio.